Okay. Hello friends, myself Gulam Samudani, Assistant Professor of Economics Department, Government First Year College, Hanugun. Respected faculty members and research scholars, today is the third technical session of one-day national level webinar on research methodology organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell. It gives me on great pleasure to introduce and welcome today's third session resource person, Professor Vadiyuki Arisi Madam. He is working as an assistant professor, Department of English at APC Mahalakshmi College for Women, Thuthukudi, Tamil Nadu. Madam completed MA PG in English, Madurai Kamaraj University, and MPhil in English in University of Madras. She cleared UGC NET in June 2013. She registered for PhD in 2018. She is ongoing. She is a member of Board of Studies since 2018. Madam presented various papers and journal in UGC Care List and national and international conference. She delivered a speech on the topic Vaname Illai in All India Radio. With regards to sports, she is a national level winner in karate. So today was topic core research principle. So once again, I welcome you, madam, for session. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Audible? Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thanks for the friendly and amicable introduction. And I have to thank a government first grade college, especially the principal, Dr. S.L. Patil, a very friendly with a very humane attitude. He never shows, that he is such a great person, but actually he is a great person. And I feel very humble and honored to present here among this elite gathering. And also, I thank the organizers for, inviting me, and let me share my PPT. Share it. My title is The Scholarly Documentation for a Core Research Principle. Is it visible?
Yes, madam, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you. See, I gave this title because other two resource persons they spoke about the publication in research papers like UGC Care as well as the Scopus publications. But here, I thought that we, as the academic people, we know what to do, what is research, and we know everything. We know how to collect data. We know everything, but how do we document it? We can publish and we can come up with very good publications and we can come up with very good thesis if we are strong enough in our methodology. The title itself for the national webinar is research methodology. So I thought that today I can go for again, for some it would be a recall, and for some the new scholars, for you it would be a lesson or a light thrown upon today for you. And this core research principle means what are the rules that we have to follow when we document it. And for this presentation, for this session, I have referred MLA 8 edition because for literature students it will be very helpful. And the next, what is, before we go for documentation, I would like to ask this question. What is scientific method? What is research? A scientific method of gathering and evaluating data to obtain a solution to a problem. Innovation or innovative ideas. It should not be complex. We have to, the duty of the researcher is to make the complex things simple and understandable even to the common people. So it is an invention. And we Indians, I think we are marching towards the new inventions, and we are going to be good at research because we are attending this webinar even on Sunday. And for many, this is the siesta for them. And I think this is the first time in my life to deliver this lecture on Sunday and from 1 to 2. I hope for participants, you also, this is the first experience. So I appreciate the college as well as the participants. And documentation should be good. What is a good documentation? The key component of good documentation is academic integrity. It assures that the writer's work can be trusted. Why? In the earlier session, the resource person, she said that at the desk itself, many papers are rejected. Why? Because it cannot be trusted. Plagiarized materials, and it is not, or maybe we can say it is not documented properly. Being a researcher, being a scholar, we know everything, but it is not possible for us to write everything on our own. We have to quote or we have to rely on somebody's idea. That is what we say, review of literature. A thesis or research is not possible without relying on the ideas of others. So, what is the research to fill the gap? Where do the other researcher lack? What ideas they were not able to take it to the society. So we need to research on that. So the background, the area which that you select, you should know the background of that area. You should analyze it. You have to evaluate it. You have to collect it, right? And of course, I knew that we all are doing that well. But why it is rejected? Why we are not able to come up with good pieces or a good paper? It's because of lack of proper documentation. So this is the time for us to again, to recall and remember the way and methods to document it properly. A perfect documentation is to avoid plagiarism. Nowadays, even when we quote, when we write our name, it says plagiarized. So, how to avoid it and how to document it? How to document in the methodology? Which methodology to be followed? For science, social science, it is different. And for literature and humanities, it is different. And we should know the methodologies. And when you collect the data itself, according to the methodologies, we have to record it and we have to compile it properly. That is the first stage in a research. And the next, methodologies, there are, as I said, two types, APA and MLA. For what is APA? The full form for APA is American Psychological Association, which it is for technical and social science research. MLA, it is the another type, as I said, it is for humanities and literatures, students, literature scholars. The full form for MLA is Modern Language Association of America, right? We know that MLA means Member of Legislative Assembly, but for research, for humanities students, we all humanities scholars, we all should be aware of the full form of MLA, that is Modern Language Association of America. Why I'm particularly talking about this is that it even it is updated. It has seventh, eighth, even now they have ninth edition. Even it is also updated. We, the teachers, the scholars, the students, we are all learners. Even the teachers, even after becoming the professors, if we have to update ourselves. A professor cannot say that I have done my research, I have got my PhD. Now I don't need to know what is the updation in the methodology. We, the teachers, are responsible to take it to the younger generation that it is being updated. As Patni sir always says, that we have to update ourselves, and this is a competitive world, right? In order to survive, we need to learn. We should not stop learning. We should not stop updating ourselves. So, in order to produce a trustable, worthy academic publications and academically reliable, worthy publications, we need to know we should be strong enough in these methodologies. In MLA, that is Modern Language Association of America, they concentrated. They have two parts. First is a detailed entry in a list of works cited, and the second they have concentrated on citation in the text. So these two parts are very important when you write your research. The work cited, whatever the list that you have mentioned under work cited, where mention it in the text properly. Sometimes, maybe by mistake, we wouldn't have quoted it or cited it, right? And even paraphrasing also, if you don't mention the authors, if you don't give the credit to the author, and if you have paraphrased his words, then that also comes under plagiarism, right? So nowadays many are getting degrees, but if we go and ask their thesis, if we verify their thesis, maximum the publications were made only because of relying upon somebody's ideas. So research should be some findings. Were we able to fill the gap, right? Did you justify your title? Were you able to justify it? Were you able to defend it through your ideas? What you are going to say by filling this gap? What is your findings? But that is missing nowadays. So to fill the gap, we, the young researchers as well as the teachers, we need to know how to document it. You can rely on anybody's work, but document it properly, cite it properly, then your thesis is going to be the best, and your paper is going to be the wonderful one. And the first part, as you evaluated your sources, ask the following questions. You have to evaluate your sources. For some, as I told you, for those great peoples, this is going to be again a recall, right? So you can enjoy today, this Sunday. As you evaluated your sources, ask the following questions. Who is the author of the source? What is the title of the source? And how was the source published? Where did you find the source? When was the source published? Right? So what are the questions? The author, who is the author, what is the title, how was the source published. That's very important, whether it is print or online, what is a printed publication or online publication, right? And where did you find the source, right? And when was the source published? These are the questions that you have to ask after collecting your data, after evaluating your sources. Now I get into the core part of this. Yeah, core elements. As I said, these are all the foundation. These are all the core elements in the documentation, right? So when you document it, you should know, you should not miss it. When you collect the data, right? Some people, they read it and they just fail to document or collect these core elements. So you must have a record. When you collect the resources, these elements should not be missed. But many, they search for all these elements only in the last moment, and they miss to quote it and they miss to cite it, and that is why we are not able to make it possible on time. So these are the core elements. What are they? Author. Next one is the title of the source. The third one is title of container. The fourth one, other contributors, version or edition, number, publisher, publication date. If it is a periodical, you need to mention the date, month, because it changes for periodicals like in the newspapers, magazines, right? Location. Location means here medium of publication. So author, first core element, you all know that when you cite it, you have to reverse the name. The first name should come in front and the second name should go back. And it has to be first, the second name, right? The first name should go back, the last name should come in front, and it should be followed by the comma, and you have to end by the period. The title of the source has to be italicized, or you have to put it in double quotes. So when you have to italicize, when the title has to be italicized, when it is independent, like books, you have to italicize the title. I hope you all are with me. Even I told you that this is very essential part in documenting the elements, documenting your sources, right? The title of container. What is the container? The book that is, if it is a collection of essays, stories, or poems, then that is what known as container, right? A book that is a collection of essays, stories, and poems should be followed after the source, that is after the book, after the name of the book. Next, the other contributors, like if at all it is directed by, or translated by, or narrated by, or performed by, you have to mention after the container. And the next, it is version. We have lots of versions, right? Editions, as I said, seventh, eighth, ninth, it goes. Books are have lots of updations. They update. The authors, they update their books, they update their volumes, they update their editions. Okay, that is known as version. Okay, it is revised version of a book or revised edition. And the next, number, a volume. Number means volume number. Next, we have to mention about the publisher. So if it is by two publishers, then you have to go for a forward slash. You can mention two publishers, right? So version, number, number could be the volume number. Even if the book is too big, they cannot put it in one single book. In that case, they go for the next volume, right? Volume 2, 3, 4, right? So that should be mentioned after the version. And the next is publisher. As I said, there are two publishers, you can mention both the publishers, right? By giving a slash. Next, after the publishers, you have to give publication date. It should be maximum for books years. And if it is periodical, as I said, if it is a magazine, newspaper, you have to mention the date, month, and year. I hope it is useful for the scholars, those who are in this session. And next, location. Finally, you have to mention whether it is a printed one or online one, okay? Or whether it was posted online, published online, or in printed version, right? So these are the core elements. The core to how to document these core elements. What are the principles that we have to follow to document these core elements is very, very essential, right? It is more of like a hands-on session. And before we learn these core elements in detail, you should know some common academic abbreviations. What are the common academic abbreviations? You should know, how to abbreviate. Short form of chapter is CH, edition, ED, period. Example, as you all know that what is example, e.g., et al. And others, et al. Maximum we use et al. For if the authors, if there are too many authors, if there are too many editors, you have to use et al. That meaning it is and others. All these two words are taken from Latin, right? Et alia. And the next number, instead of writing number, you can go for NO period. And what is this? The P's, right? This P in capital, it represents press. So where do we use all these things? I'm talking about these things mentioned in works cited parts. As I told you, in MLA handbook, there are two parts. One is about works cited and one is about the in text. So the first part is about, as I said, it's about the works cited. There you can mention like this, right? At all, NOP stands for press, that is academic press. What capital P and small p followed by period is page, and double P followed by period is pages, right? And the next par period, which means paragraph. Par period, which means paragraph. Next, quoted in can be written like this. Revised can be written like this. Section, translation, U. Okay, capital U can be represented by university, right? U stands for university, right? Instead of writing always, they avoid writing in the citation university. Instead of university, you can write U. The next one is UP, right? It is not Uttar Pradesh. No, okay, it is University Press. UP in the works cited stands for University Press. And the next one, volume, right? Volume, we can mention like this. So, among those core elements, the first one is author. As I said, if there are two authors, what do you have to do? Reverse the first of the names, follow it with a comma and give the second name in normal order. You can see the example here. The name is Michael Doris. The first name comes. We have reversed his name, comma, and Michael. You can see the capital letter here. Both are in caps, comma, and this is for two authors, and Louis Erdrich. So the second name can be written in normal order, right? So only the first name matters. We should be very careful when you mention in the work cited, right? In the work cited, what you have to write it. If it is only one name, right? The first name, we have to reverse it, comma, right? Followed by caps and comma. If it is two authors, you have to give a comma and write and you can also see here it is first letter of the two names, right? It's in caps. Louis Erdrich. But it is written in a normal order. Only the first is reversed. Keep a period. After name, it is compulsory to have a period. And the next you have to write the book name, right? The book name, and then next the publisher, and then the year, right? And then the year. And what is et al? As I told you, for more than three authors, you can go for et al. Example: Berdrick, Annie, et al. Digital Humanities, MIT Press, 2012. Sorry. So if it is more than three, right, you can use, as I told you, et al. And others. The first name, you can reverse it and it is followed by comma and use et al. And give the title, publisher's name, and the year. And the next comes the editor. What we have to do when it is a editor? Because editor didn't create the main content. The name is followed by a descriptive label. So what is a descriptive label? This is, who is he? Only the name. And as I told you, the single editor, you can reverse it and comma and you can write editor, right? And the title of the book. Since it is the title of the book, you have to put it in italics. You have to put it in italics. Then, after the title of the book, you have to keep a period. You have to keep a period. And the next, it is the publisher's name. This is University of California, right? University of California. And page, right? University of California, 1996. The two or more editors. If it is two or more editors, you have to put it in plural. You can see here. I hope the PPT is visible to all of you. The first name is reversed, and the second name, right? And Rupert Hart, right? The second name is in normal for order, and you can write it editors, right? You can put it editors. If it is singular, editor. If it is plural, you can write editors and title and the next publisher and the year. And that is, if it is more than three, you can write at all editors and the next remaining details. Right. Next I should go for source translated from another language and focus is on translation. Treat the translator as the author. And nowadays, many of us, we do research on translated words, especially people from literature, right? And that is what we call it as world literature. The literature could reach people through the translated words. And many, when they go for the thesis in translated words, they ask us questions: Why do you go for translated version instead of the original versions? Right. So when you take the translated word, you have to treat the translator as the author. It's very important, right? Those who do research or on translated words. So you have to treat the translator as the author. You can see here the author, and okay, this is the author's place. It is translators, two translators, right? And Crime and Punishment. What is the name of the book? Crime and Punishment, written by the original author is Fyodor Dostoevsky, right? So you can write capital B, Fyodor Dostoevsky, comma, Vintage e-books. It's the name of the publishers and year. So when you document it, if you're able to, put it in the right case, right method, you can cite it well inside the text. So it is easy for the readers, right? It is easy for the readers, those who go through your papers or research, right? And they have the good flow. They can trust your paper. So that is the case with these, referring these translators. Another example, you can see here, two translators, right? After comma, translators, it is not caps, it is in small t, period, name of the title, a book is Beowulf, right? And we don't know the author of Beowulf. Okay, so it is written, edited by Sarah Anderson. The publisher is Pearson. It was published in the year 2004. It was published in 2004. And the next comes title of source. So many of you, or many of us, we don't know where to italicize it and where to put it in a quote when we have to quote it. So italicize if the source is self-contained and independent. Example, a book is a whole unto itself, and so its title is set in italics. Right? If it is a whole and independent, then you can go for the title with italicized. Example here, Jacob Allen, right? The Pleasures of Reading in an Age of Distraction. This is the name of the book. So, since it is independent, it is whole. This book is whole and independent. You can put it in italics. Period. Then you can go for Oxford, right? Publishers, Oxford University Press, right? Oxford University Press, comma, 2001. You have to keep a period actually here. Okay. The next, the title of an essay or a story or a poem in a collection as a part of a larger whole is placed in quotation marks. When you have to put it in double quotes, when the title is taken, from an essay collections, right? If it is an essay, if it is a story, or if it is a poem from a collection, from an anthology, right? So in that case, you have to put that in double quotes. Example, I have given here, the author name within double quotes. What is the title? The cultural consequences of printing and internet. Okay, keep a period and close the quote. Agents of change, colon, print culture studies after Elizabeth, right, comma, editors detail and publishers detail. You can see two publishers. So they have mentioned University of Massachusetts, right, that press, and Center for Book Library of Congress, right, in the year 2007. And finally, what is this? We already discussed. I told you the abbreviations. PP small, that is pages. If it is one page, you can write P. If it's two, more than one, we can go for double P's here. That is page number 365 to 77, right? Okay. Next, it is title of periodicals. As I told you, if it is periodical like journals, magazine, newspaper, is set in italics, and the title of the article in the period goes in quotation marks. So when you refer, when you mention, when you refer, and when you want to cite it, you have to, especially the periodicals, you have to put it in italics. But if you mention article from that particular newspaper or a magazine, you have to put it in double quotes. You can see here, author within double quotes, the title of this magazine, the review, the Georgia review, comma, the volume. Okay, what number? One. Volume now, volume 64, number one. Okay, year, pages. A website in italics. When it is published in website, the text should be put in italics, right? The name of the site should be put in italics. The next, posting or article at a website, it has to be in quotation mark. If it is a post, right? If you post an article at a website, it should be in italics. It should be in quotation marks. Then, how to document a book? Second and later edition of a book may contain the dates of all the editions signed. You have to sign the date of the edition you used. So many have these confusion. No, the books, it has lots of edition, but the book that you use might be different. And what you see in others papers, they would have mentioned different editions. So whatever the edition that you see, you have to mention that particular edition's date. And next, a refer title page or copyright page for referring to your dates. If you want to see the dates of publication, either the title page or the copyright page, don't take the publication dates of books from an outside resource. This is very important, especially we are in a very fast mode, right? We don't have the patience to take the book and refer it. We always go online, and we are, yeah. So a maximum avoid referring bibliography, online catalogs, booksellers like Amazon, since the information there may be inaccurate. Especially when you see a book there in Amazon. Very recently I saw it, right? They have given, instead of 1894, they have given 1984. So it is better not to rely on those outside resources. Okay. Yeah. Next, the title of the container. We already discussed about this container. Maybe a book that is a collection of essays, I told you. So the title of the container, it has to be, put it in double quotes. This is known as a container. For a periodical, you can put it like this. Okay, I go fast. If it is a lecture or other, you can, if you hear anything, right, any other address, if you listen to my address of, if you listen, if you want to quote some resource person's address, right, you can use like this, right? It is the name of the author, Margaret Atwood. Silencing the Screen, Boundaries of the Imagination Forum, and 29 December 1993, Royal York Hotel, Toronto. And finally, at end, after the period, you have to mention address if it is a lecture. Maximum, we listen to lots of interviews, lectures, addresses, right? Public addresses. In that case, you can document it like this. The title should be in double quotes, right? And which forum organized it, right? And remaining details and the date and which place, the venue, right? The venue, and finally we have to mention whether it is an address or a lecture or what a spoken medium it was, and referring online works or date of access. Nowadays, as I already told you, we cannot, or how to say that, everything is available in our hand online. So if it is online, right? If it is online work, you have to mention the date of access. So this is the title. This is the book, okay? And finally, you have to mention like this the website address and when did you access it. 23 July 2013. So when you cite online words, you mention the website detail, right, address, as well as finally the date of access is important. And the next, the second part. So far we have discussed the first part, how to document it, how to mention the work cited part. The second part in this is in text citations. What is in text citation? This is the second main component, right? You can see here. According to Naomi Barron, reading is double quotes. Just half of literacy, the other half is writing, closing the quotes. And within the parenthesis, we are mentioning the author's name, space, the date, right? Space, the date. Uh, Sorry, here we have already mentioned the author Naomi Barron. So it is not necessary for us to mention the author's name again here. It is enough to mention the date, the page number, the page number. So you can see the next example here. Reading is within double quotes, just half of literacy, period. The other half is writing, and we we cite the in text. This is the in text citation. These two are known as in text. Here we didn't mention about the author here. So in that case, within the parenthesis, you can go for Baron space the page number. So on after that, you can write your own sentences. Right? I hope you understood. This is the in text citation. Right? So when you text your citation in the text, right? When you mention the citation in the text, if you write like this, according to Naomi Barron, you need not again mention in the parenthesis of the author's name. If you don't mention, it is this is the format, this is the method of quoting or citing the author here. Baron space 19 on a 194 and close the bracket and keep a period. Some they keep the period before the bracket, so it is better to keep it after the bracket, right? This is the method. Next, you have in the text you have cited like this. Then how do you mention in the works cited part? This is the method. Baron Naomi is within double quotes, right? Redefining reading, the impact of digital communication media, right? And all the details. So since it is Baron here, we have to mention this name, not Naomi. Some they mention Naomi, or some they write the entire name, and some, they don't follow this method. If you follow these method, okay, this is we call it as methodology. right? If you are perfect in all these citations, obviously it is damn sure that you are documenting it properly and it is trustworthy. And certain things that these are all very basic thing, but it is very core. These basic things are core in writing. Don't capitalize the following parts of speech when they fall in the middle of a title, especially articles. When you write a title, many they just like that bold everything, and they just put it in it's like that. So what are the parts of speech that you should not capitalize when it comes in the middle of a title? Articles, first one, A and D, right? Example, under the bamboo tree. So the should not be capitalized here. Why? Because it is an article. Prepositions, it should not be capitalized. Example, against, as, between, in, of, to, as in the Merchant of Venice, and a dialogue between the soul and body. So you can see here preposition of, preposition between, right? So these prepositions should not be capitalized when it comes to the title. I'm talking about title. Some of us thinking that all the first letter should be capitalized, right? Since it is the first letter, we capitalized, right? A dialogue between the soul and body. So all are capital first, all the first letters are capitalized, but for the prepositions. And the next we go for coordinating conjunctions. Okay, what is coordinating conjunction? Which connects, which coordinates, right? So coordinating conjunctions like and, but, for, nor, or, so, at, these should not be capitalized. Example, Romeo and Juliet. So Romeo R is capital, Juliet J is capital, but this coordinating conjunction and should not be capitalized, right? But we can capitalize subordinating conjunctions. Okay, okay, we should not capitalize coordinating conjunction, but we can capitalize subordinating conjunctions. Example, after, although, as if, soon as, because, before, if, that, unless, until, when, where, while, as. Right? Example, one, if, by, land. Okay, here, if, this is the subordinating conjunction. Here we can capitalize. So, dear participants and dear scholars, you might think that this is something trivial, but only in these areas we sometimes go wrong, right? And the next one, infinitives. We should not capitalize. Two infinitives, right? Example, how to play chess. Okay, how to play chess. So these two infinitives should not be capitalized. Okay, right. I have given an example to illustrate how to capitalize and punctuate variety of titles using this one, subordinating conjunction and a preposition. Life as I find it, right? Here, as is a subordinating conjunction, so we have capitalized it. So we should be very careful. Being a researcher, we should be a master of grammar part two, right? Which is whether it as acts as a conjunction or as a preposition, right? We should be alert, right? And then so here we have capitalized, but the same as here works as a preposition. The artist as critic. So here as acts as a preposition, as critic, right? Here we need not capitalize it. Next, titles within titles. So students many times, they confuse where to go for double quotes, where to go for single quotes. I think most of us know where to go for double quotes when it is somebody's, when it is uttered by somebody, when you borrow somebody's idea, when you quote somebody's idea, obviously you go for double quotes, right? But if it is title within title, then you have to go for single quote. So where do we have to go for single quote? Title within a title, right? Example, lines after reading Sailing to Byzantium. And Sailing to Byzantium is put it in single quote, right? So single quote and it is closed with double quotes. A poem about a poem, right? So this title is a poem about a poem. What is that poem that we are going to talk about? Sailing to Byzantium, right? So you're writing another poem about this poem, right? So in that case, you have to go for single quotes. The next ellipsis, finally, ellipsis. What is ellipsis? Maximum, we don't want to quote everything, right? If an author quoted something, we don't want to mention each and everything. We want to quote that particular words which is related to sentences which is related to your area or your research. In that case, you can go for ellipsis. You can omit word, you can omit a phrase, you can omit a sentence or more from a quoted passages. Okay, or you should be guided by two principles when you go for this ellipsis. One is fairness to the author who quoted, and next one, the grammatical integrity of your writing. The researcher's job is to maintain integrity. If you maintain this integrity, fairness towards the author, as well as you, if you maintain the grammatical integrity of your writing, right? So you can go for, you can justify your ellipsis. Example, you can see these ellipses here. Medical thinking, ellipsis, right? So the author here, the scholar, don't wanted to mention everything, so you can keep ellipsis, and you can mention stressed air as the communicator of disease, ignoring sanitation or visible carriers, and close the double quotes, right? Close the quotation, and within a bracket we can mention the page numbers. So I can discuss many insights, right, of methodologies, but within 45 minutes I have to complete it. That is why I stopped with this. We can, for some it might be something trivial, but I feel that we have to again and again recall it. We have to update according to the methodologies, updated methodologies. And if you are able to put everything according to the method, right, if you maintain the integrity, it is possible for all researchers to come out with colors. So that is what I could say by this session. And I have taken all these points, all these methodologies I have taken from, I referred here from MLA Handbook 8th edition 2016. And thank you, dear participants, and thank you for the patient listening. Thank you all, and we can go for the discussion. Hello, hello.
Thank you, madam,
Thank you, sir.
for your valuable presentation. Thank you, madam. So forward to this answer.
Thank you, sir. If there are any clarifications at this juncture, I
Madam,
would like
can
to
you,
thank Dr. Patil and the organizers for giving this platform. As a research scholar, I have the chance to share all my opinions.
Madam, can you please share your mail ID?
What's the share?
Mail ID, mail ID.
My mail ID. Okay. I shall share it, sir. I have shared it here, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you.
Patil, sir, did I, help you today? And
Yeah, it is definitely an informative session, madam.
thank you,
As
sir.
a scholar, I feel it, madam. Very, it's a wonderful session.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'm happy that it was not boring because since it is a 1 to 2 session, right? And also it was about documentation, something facts. So usually literature people, I'm from literature field, we used to discuss about stories, but here it is more about facts,
No, 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 no.
scientific facts, methodologies. So thanks for the patience.
Still, we are curious to hear you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we are all learners. We always learn, right? We have to update ourselves. And I would also love to learn from you all. If you want to share anything, if you want to give any observation, you can give it here.
And me too, English scholar, madam. I'll contact you later through mail ID.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, madam, for your lucid presentation. It's wonderful. So, if you continue for another few minutes, definitely we are supposed to listen to you. That depends on the presentation, way of presentation, whether it is 1 to 2 or something like that. Some people say that this is our time. That is simply of a way of taking and consideration. Ma'am. Thank you very much.
But I feel this is not enough. I have to do even better than this since the lack of time, right? I couldn't interact with you, or else if I could interact much with you all. And thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
Thank you, madam, for presenting a valuable and informative session.
Thank you, sir.
Now I request our honorable principal, Dr. Russell Patil, sir, to present a presidential speech. Sir, over to you, sir.
Uh, Good afternoon to one and all, especially all the resource persons and my dear faculty members and organizers, and also the great respected participants across the country. As per today, we have organized one day national level seminar on research methodology, which covered 4 sessions. The first session was keynote address, and the second session was handled by Dr. Robin Kaushal, and the third session was handled by Dr. Girish, and the fourth session was handled by Professor Vaduvakarsi Madam. Okay, uh, actually, I wanted to make this national level webinar because for the scholars, because nowadays what is happening, scholars scholars are scholars are not getting more focus towards research updation. So every day the research are being updated, especially in MLA format and all these things. So focusing those research scholars, we have organized the research methodology workshop webinar. For these, I have actually I wanted to select the deserved candidates, the deserved resource persons. So at that time, especially Dr. Robin Kaushal, who was my actually orientation course batchmate at Shimla, and Vaduvakarshi madam actually she is my refresher course batchmate. So almost all, Dr. Girish is my classmate. Yes, both of three of them planned and we designed the framework of 1 day webinar. Especially these all three resource persons, especially the keynote speaker, Dr. Shankar Gowda Patil, register from Rani Chennamma University. Those all presented they have given us very good inputs and which make our research scholars as well as the teachers for their updation regarding with research methodology. And I request in my valedictory address, I would like to request all the resource persons to share their YouTube links so that we can provide their YouTube links to all the participants. And more participants have already asked the questions in message inboxes. So we categorize those questions based on resource person topic wise. Then we forward those questions to the resource persons. Those resource persons, respected resource persons, they actually provide the particular answers for the particular questions in the format of text.
Kanwa, a
Then
hermit
we forward
father.
to the
This is
participants because
Shakuntala's hermit
why?
father.
Because
Hermit
of
father.
these limitations, we have a technical so many limitations, so that we are not able to converse or we are not able to address the queries of the participants directly. So a single query of a single participant can be addressed
Is
tomorrow or the
Bharat.
day after tomorrow from the resource persons. So I am very thankful to all these three resource persons for their time and for their actual presentations, which make us, because in our government colleges what is happening, we don't have any more limitations, we don't have more focus on or opportunities on researches in government degree colleges. By organizing these kind of webinars and workshop and seminars, so we are actually reaching the target people, especially the scholars, or especially our students who are seeking the higher education, who are making researches in the field of literature, science, and all fields. So we are striving very hard in order to reach all the target groups. So by conducting these type of seminars, especially on research methodologies, so the scarcity of limitation which we get from our government colleges, by organizing we can fulfill those dreams come true. So I am very thankful to all the once again the respected resource persons, as well as our teaching and non-teaching faculty members, our IQAC coordinator and our IQAC co-coordinator, and our webinar organizer and our webinar convener, and almost all the my teaching faculty and non-teaching faculty, especially the audience. They are very interested. The participants are very interested. They used to ask me the links, as well as if they don't get the link immediately, they will ask the questions. Actually, I felt very wonder. I felt very dumbfounded the response from the respected participants. And from here, we'll share the feedback link along with the questions and answers. Because if you get more than 60 percentage, then only we'll get the certificate. That is the method that we adopted, because it should not be one sided. uh, so you are already participated, so we send the feedback form in the form of questionnaire. You have to answer those questions. If you get more than 60 percentage, then you will get the certificate. So then every day you will get only 100 certificates, as per it's a technical limitation that we have. So if you don't get the certificate, don't feel anything. The next day you will get it definitely. Okay. So I already told my webinar convener. He made all the he made the ready of all the Google forms and all these things. So you will get every day under the that certification. So don't worry about the certification. Everyone will get the certificates definitely by from our side. So I am very thankful to one and all, and from this, because we already are organized so many webinars, workshops, FDPs throughout this online mode. Last since 3 years, our college has been arranged more than 4 or 5 FDPs and webinars. So I am very thankful to all my teams. And in the next month also, we are planning to arrange one more webinar. So we have to discuss it. So thank you one and all. Sir, thank you. Over to you, Nijesh Kumar sir.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable presidential speech. As a webinar convener, I thanks our honorable principal, sir, to give me an opportunity to organize this webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
And
much.
I am very thankful to all resource persons as well as our IQAC coordinator, co-coordinator, executive committee members, and all the participants. All the participants will get the feedback form link in WhatsApp groups as well as Telegram group. Thank you. With this, we will end this webinar. Thank you. Thank you, sir.